Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things that we learned from FC Copenhagen 1, Chelsea 2. Look, this wasn't a game that is going to live too long in the memory. The first half was absolutely awful. It was horrible. It was one of those things where I'm like, I woke up at 12 o'clock at night, midnight, to watch this bloody game. What on earth did I waste my time for? I genuinely think I've never seen a game of football like that one in the first half, where I can genuinely tell you that absolutely nothing happened. If for whatever reason you want to torture yourself, which I wouldn't recommend doing that, but if ever you did want to, then I would strongly suggest going and watching the first half of this Copenhagen-Chelsea match. It was awful, but if you guys are here for the 6 things we learned, make sure you smack a like on the video. Chelsea did win, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and the link to more GBFC, the official second channel, where I talk about the Champions League, other Premier League teams, is linked in the description down below. So yeah, the first half, there's really not much to say whatsoever, apart from the Chelsea lineup. We go with a 4-2-3-1. Rob Sanchez, who is apparently now the cup goalkeeper. If anything, it's a blessing we're out the flipping domestic cups, isn't it? So we don't have to see him there. But to be fair, he didn't have much to do, and I can't fault him for the goal. Moving into a Chelsea backline, Trevor Chalobah playing as a right back, moving next to Tosin. Benoit Badiashile, after missing the last, I think it's like 16 matches with injury. Badiashile is there. Gusto at left back. And Malo Gusto goes off after 25 minutes. A midfield pivot that saw Reece James and Moises Caicedo playing together. Tyreek George on the right, was it? Dewsbury Hall, if you can say that he was on the left, we'll say that he was on the left, just for argument's sake. Cole Palmer in the 10. And then a start up front. Very bold this from Enzo Maresca, to be fair. But there's a start up front for Chimera Mueka, who, to be honest, didn't have very much to do, didn't offer too much, and in the first half, it looked as though that was a Chelsea team that hadn't started a match together before. There are players in there that don't have many minutes under their belts. Tyreek George has been kind of getting little cameos at the end of games recently, but Chimera Mueka, since he made that debut, I think he's played 7 minutes of competitive football since he featured in Astana. So he's not really been playing that much football. And Chelsea's problem in the first half was just how rigid everybody was positionally. You can tell that Maresca was approaching this game with a little bit of caution. As well as caution, you can argue that there were a lot of changes to the 11. There were young players out there, with the likes of Nkunku on the bench, Enzo on the bench, Pedro Neto, who's been playing through the middle recently, also on the bench. But Chelsea, we needed to move around. There was absolutely no movement on show whatsoever in that first half of the game. It was so dull, so boring to watch. And Cole Palmer was spending pretty much the whole of that first half dropping deep, because he was the only player that was ever looking to get the ball forward. Chelsea weren't getting forward at any opportunity. Reece James, who was playing in that midfield role alongside Caicedo, he wasn't distributing it forward. And then as the second half begins, we see an immediate substitution for Chelsea, a triple substitution at half-time. And this is where I want to give Enzo Maresca credit, because look, as I said at the start, if you're a neutral watching that first half, you're asleep. You're turning it off. You're getting an early night, and you're going to wake up fresh in the morning. Unlike me, after a flipping midnight wake-up for this flipping game. Unbelievable. But we make a triple substitution. Levi Colwill comes on. Enzo Fernandez on. Christopher Nkunku on. For Mueka, Badiashile and Caicedo. And lo and behold, Chelsea's fortunes do change at the beginning of the second half. It is, I think it's Nkunku linking up, and then there's an overlapping run from Marc Cucurella, who loves to get forward. He loves to be involved, as our Marc Cucurella, and he cuts the ball back. And Reece James, what an incredible finish this is. When I first looked at it, I thought it was like he's just rifled it. He's gone and cut the flipping daisies on the top of the grass, but he didn't. He just side foots it, but it's hit with so much precision alongside that power. It is a brilliant finish from Reece. And look, Chelsea desperately needed that. And if we go straight into the boxes here, because we begin with box number 1 from an Enzo Fernandez, because Enzo gets that second goal. And from the moment we get that second goal, Chelsea looked comfortable. But the second one is an absolutely beautiful finish from Enzo Fernandez. Again, Marc Cucurella on that left-hand side, getting forward. And Chelsea intercept the ball. Mistake from the right back. And Copenhagen were basically playing like a 5-4-1 formation tonight. So it was difficult to break it down. But when Enzo Fernandez came on, you can see he's always looking to try and play those clip balls over the top. He's kind of scanning everything in front of him to see what passes are available, which was everything that Chelsea were missing in that first half. But the finish from Enzo Fernandez was absolutely superb to make it 2-0 to Chelsea. And look, to win this game 2-1 and not win it 2-0 is frustrating, but it was definitely the substitutions that made the difference. Box number 2 is a green for Reece James. And look, towards the end of the game, right, absolutely everybody was getting flipping booked, losing their heads. But to be honest, I think the longer this game would have gone on without Chelsea scoring a goal, this could have gone down as one of those nights that was just beyond frustrating for us. And look, I can deal with watching a game of football that doesn't entertain me, as long as we flipping win. And that's exactly what we have done this evening. Reece James with that first goal, and it changed the mood. And look, Chelsea going to Stamford Bridge with a 1-goal lead, and away goals in Europe nowadays, they don't count. I'm not going to lie. When they did used to count, I was like, get rid of this rubbish. But now, it brings a bit of jeopardy into football again. At least bring it back in the Champions League whilst we're not in it. But anyway, we move into box number 3. And I've spoken a lot about Marc Cucurella because, look, Chelsea overall, we weren't brilliant tonight. There was nobody out there really that put in a massive shift. We weren't fantastic, but Marc Cucurella again is focal, whether it is just with little bits and pieces and getting himself involved. He's always there. And for the first goal, he gets the assist. The second one, it's his little biting at the ankles of the Copenhagen players that gets it to Tyreek George in the first place, to cut it back to Enzo, to make it 2-0 to Chelsea. And I want to say a big credit to Marc Cucurella for his role in this game. Moving into box number 4, it is a red for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I've got to talk about this bloke, man. What does Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall bring to this Chelsea team? Genuinely, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, why do the likes of Sam Raksaki not get more minutes in this team? Because I don't understand what Dewsbury-Hall does. I really don't. I know that Chelsea have won today, and we're not going to just try and dig out players here, but we've got to call it what it is. The man offered absolutely nothing out there on the pitch. I'm looking now. He got 41 touches and only 74% pass accuracy. I'm up on SofaScore right now. You guys can't see it, but look, Dewsbury-Hall, man, we got rid of Conor Gallagher and we brought this guy in. Enough said. We don't have to say anything more to that. Box number 5 is a yellow for Cole Palmer because he was involved, and as much as he only got 70 minutes, I actually think in hindsight, I said in the preview that I didn't want Palmer to start because I just didn't think we needed to start him. I would have wanted to have seen Christopher Nkunku playing as that 10 with maybe a Sancho out on the left, and to be fair, Reece James moving into the midfield, I think he was probably the man of the match, to be honest. But Reece did well in the end because his distribution was better in the second half. But when it comes to Palmer, he had too much to do in that first half. He always had to drop deep, and then he was operating kind of over on that right-hand side, supporting Tyreek George. But that moment in the second half where Palmer has that shot and it goes wide, I just wonder if that goes in, if we get a different Palmer at the weekend against Leicester. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment, Cole Palmer just simply needs a goal. And I was hoping when I saw him start, he was going to get it tonight. He doesn't, but we still managed to get the win. Box number 6 is a red box for the word concentration, because look, the goal that we've conceded, I'm attributing the blame here to both Colwill and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, but all in all, why are we switching off? It's 2-0 in a two-legged tie. Copenhagen, yeah, they weren't great, and to be fair, the only player that was any good, in my opinion, was Froholt in the first half, the midfielder. So he's 19 years old. Expect a bid to come in after the second leg is completed. You heard it here first. Nah, I'm joking. But look, towards the end of the game, Copenhagen players losing their heads. There was 4 yellows for Copenhagen. Chelsea with Enzo Fernandez. To be honest, I was looking at that. I don't think Enzo did very much, but he gets himself a silly little yellow. But overall, we switched off. Conceded too simple of a goal. It's a bullet header, to be fair. But why are you leaving someone who's clearly an aerial threat, Pereira, at the back post for Copenhagen? Why is he basically unmarked? Colwill is seeing how high he can jump, and that wasn't very high. And Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is chasing shadows like he was all over the field for the entirety of the 90 minutes. But anyway, Chelsea have won 2-1. Let me know the 6 things that you learned from this game in the comments down below. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already done so, and check out more GBFC. The link is in the description. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Come on, you Blues.